So that's a funny story as why I enlisted in the military. It's a girl's story. She's a little bit older than me.
Early in my senior year, I figured out I wasn't going to become a running back. So I went to a recruiter to join the Army because that was the quickest way I could get out of Alaska.
My plan actually was not to be in the Army.
I said, I want something bigger than where I'm at. Like, I don't want to be a farmer's wife. Like, that's not for me.
I'm Jeremiah Inman, U.S. Army Europe and Africa. I've been there about 3 years.
What initially motivated you or inspired you to join the Army?
So I was born in a trailer in Moose Creek, Alaska. Early in my senior year, I figured out I wasn't going to become a running back. So I went to a recruiter to join the Army because that was the quickest way I could get out of Alaska.
My plan actually was not to be in the Army. I really wanted to be in the Foreign Service. And so after I graduated from college, I realized it's incredibly difficult to get into the Foreign Service right out of college. And so I was looking for an opportunity to get some experience that was translatable to the Foreign Service. And so I joined the Army as an Arabic linguist because I wanted to learn another language, get a clearance, get a little bit of experience in the government, and then translate that 4 years later into an application for the State Department. I just failed to get out of the Army.
So that's a funny story as why I enlisted in the military. Back in 1988, I was a junior in high school. I'm 17 years old, and just direction-wise, didn't know if I was going to go to college or join the military, or both. So I decided to join the military back then to give myself an option. Growing up in a poor environment where I think I'd be the second person to actually attend college. I had a kind of a soccer scholarship going up to Iona College, and just needed to make sure I had some security. I was also chasing a girl. It's a girl's story. She's a little bit older than me, and I was in high school. She was in college, so I couldn't catch up to her age-wise. So I said, let me be an Army man, a military man. It actually worked. 30-something years later, we're still hanging out.
It's gonna be our new recruiting message right there.
Those are my two reasons. For a backup plan, active duty wasn't my thing. I wanted to still be a civilian, like twice a citizen.
If you can bring me back to 1992, why did you join the Army? Why did you enlist in the Army?
You took me back a long ways, okay? So that's, as you know, over 30 plus years, probably older than everybody sitting in this room. But nonetheless, where I grew up, in a very, very small town, there wasn't a lot of opportunity. And of course, we didn't have a lot of money either. And so I knew, I suppose it was probably high school, but I had family serving in the military. My dad was drafted in Vietnam. I said, I want something bigger than where I'm at. Like, I don't want to be a farmer's wife. Like, that's not for me. So I said, I'm going to join the military too. So it was really all about the opportunity, education, traveling the world, all of the other stuff that I think most people want to get out of the Army. And I haven't looked back. I mean, when I first signed that contract, it was 6 years, and I thought, oh my God, I'm going to be so old. But I can't even believe I'm where I'm at. It feels like it's only been 6 years, but that would be the reason.
Was there any formative moments, maybe earlier on in your career, or maybe once you were an NCO, that kind of solidified your choice of why you went past those 6 years?
Yeah, so I think you're absolutely right when you say formative. If you're not placed in front of some great people, that's not going to really keep you in, right? Like, the book cover gets you, but it's the content of the book that keeps you. And so I was very fortunate to have some very solid NCOs in my young career. Who told me education's important, who told me if you just do your job, you're going to get rewarded. You'll have plenty of opportunity if you give 100%. And so that's what I needed, that structure. I mean, I grew up in a structured environment anyway because I was on a farm and, yada, yada. But, it was good to see everybody else of the same mindset, getting after the same thing. And then the camaraderie of the team and everybody else kind of achieving and going after the same goal. It was just like, this is me. Like, I love it. I'm going to keep going. And the 6 years came around, and I will tell you too, every enlistment I never got that bonus, but I didn't need one. Like, I wanted to continue to serve. So That's what kept me. It was those formative leaders that I had in those first 6 years that got me hook, line, and sinker.
Yeah, so why I stayed this long is still a mystery to me. When I joined as Private Betty, my first sergeant back in 1988, 89, sent me to Desert Storm. Right, and when I told him one day I'm going to replace him as the first sergeant, and I actually did in the same company. So First Sergeant Allen, I saw him actually 2 years ago. I was going to do some banking in New York, and I saw him in the parking lot. And he saw me not 2 years ago, a couple months ago, because I was in this position. And we hugged like it was 1989. So him, just the leaders that I've had throughout my career, they told me that my energy and my way of approaching soldiers and soldiering is something that's needed in the higher ranks. So being the Sergeant Major of the Army Reserve was never in my window, but as I progressed in the position, senior leaders from two-star generals and CSM, retired and serving, said, hey, you should put your hat in the ring. The enterprise needs a leader like you. So those are the reasons why I'm here.
What kept me in the Army is also, I think, kind of an interesting story. Honestly, I was very close to getting out at the end of that first enlistment. I waited all the way up until about 3 months before my ETS to re-enlist. And I actually, I was already studying for the Foreign Service exam, talking to the retention NCO, and she kept asking me what it would take to get me to stay in the Army. And I kept telling her nothing, and eventually told her that I'd like to do the stabilization option to stay. I was in the 101st at the time. And instead of doing the college, where you could go and take like a semester of college, I didn't want to go locally. I wanted to go do a foreign exchange program in the Middle East, in Jordan, as my college option for stabilization, figuring there was no way I would get it and I would just proceed with my plan to get out of the Army. And she came back the next day and said, okay, the battalion commander said yes. And so I initially stayed in purely because I got a really great re-enlistment option and figured I would do 4 more years and then get out. And during that second enlistment, I was recruited by Special Operations. 9/11 happened, started deploying, and so a lot of things changed during that second enlistment. And I just really found something that had a lot of meaning and purpose to me, and so I kept doing it.
Sitting here now as a Sergeant Major, why do you continue to serve?
Staying in the Army, I think, is a decision we all make almost, well, at this point now, almost daily, because I can, certainly elect to retire at any time. But I think you make that decision, multiple times along your career path at every opportunity that you have to re-enlist. And, for much of my career, I really thought, even once I'd made the decision to make it a career, I really thought, okay, 20 years is a career. And I continued to stay after 20 years because of the people, because of soldiers. I wake up every morning and I get to come to work. I don't have to come to work. And so that's what keeps me in the Army, because I think, why would you not want to do a job that you wake up every day and you get to do it? And it's like a gift to you to be able to be here.
My initial goal was to do my first 3 years, get out of the Army and go do something different, right? But life gets a vote throughout your career. So got married, jumped into combat, wife got sick, had kids, so the Army became a career. And it probably wasn't until I became a staff sergeant to where I really understood what profession was, what it meant to really serve one's nation.
Can you elaborate on that? What does service mean to you?
Service is trying to help other people, right? It's putting others' needs before your own, like the book Leaders Eat Last type concept. Both my kids ended up joining the military, so that makes it more personal. Father was a soldier, grandfather, father-in-law. It just becomes like the family business.
Did you have any specific moment that you were like, this is it? This happened, I'm staying? Or why did you choose to continue to serve?
There were a number of times where I was thinking about reclassing, going into a different MOS. I was fortunate enough to spend 10 years in Ranger Regiment, which I love that job, and I'm still relatively healthy, so I appreciate them taking care of me. But again, life gets a vote, right? So our initial goal was like, hey, we'll stay in until the kids get out of high school. And then I had a brain tumor. So it's like, okay, we need to stay in probably a little bit longer to make sure this doesn't come back. Kids got out of high school, like, hey, let's stay in until they get out of college. And at every point in our career, it's been like, if the Army sucks more than it's fun, then we're gonna get out. And that was pretty much our driving force since, I got married.
So, sitting here today, what inspires you?
The people. I mean, I wouldn't do this because of that. I mean, it keeps me going every single day. And I think I have a conversation about this every day also. It's like, there's always something in that day, that little nugget that kind of keeps you coming back. It does keep you coming back. And I wouldn't be here if it weren't for the people. I think that's it.
Is there anything else you would like to add?
Well, obviously, I still wouldn't be here 33 years if I didn't say I'm super proud. I am probably one of the proudest soldiers you'll ever come up against. And my family asks me every day, Mom, if you could stay in forever, you probably would. And she's absolutely right. I still get the goosebumps and the chills when I hear the anthem. And I'm standing there, and right now my eyes are starting to water. But I'm just so proud to serve. And we've got such a great Army. So I'll close there before I start bawling.
Soldiers, thanks for watching. If you like this video, continue to watch us and click subscribe.